Benno, once again we're going for an epic video featuring a young, super talented star of this generation. In the heart of Uganda, where football is more than just a sport but a passion that unites millions, one young man has risen to capture the dreams and hopes of an entire nation. His name is Allan Okello. Known fondly as Uganda's Wonder Boy, Okello's story is not just about goals scored or trophies won, it is about resilience, raw talent, and the journey of a boy who dared to dream bigger than his circumstances. From the dusty pitches of Kampala to the dazzling floodlights of international football, Allan's rise has been nothing short of inspirational. He represents not only the future of Ugandan football, but also the spirit of a new generation ready to put Uganda on the global sporting map. In this video, we take you deep into his story, his humble beginnings, the challenges he faced, the unforgettable debut that shook Ugandan football, and the incredible path that continues to unfold before our very eyes. So sit back, relax, and join us as we celebrate the rise of Allan Okello, Uganda's Wonder Boy. Humble beginnings. Every legend has a beginning, and for Allan Okello, it all started in the heart of northern Uganda, in a place called Lira. A town full of resilience, where life was not always easy, but where dreams could be born on the red dusty grounds. As a young boy, Allan did not have much, no fancy boots, no professional football fields, only passion, determination, and a ball, sometimes handmade, to chase around with friends. For him, football was never just a game. It was an escape, a language, and a way to dream beyond the horizon of everyday struggles. Neighbors would gather to watch this little boy, barely taller than the goalposts, weave past older kids with ease. His small frame hid a giant talent, one that made people whisper, "This boy is special." Even then, you could see it, his vision, his balance, and his joy whenever the ball was at his feet. Growing up in Lira also meant learning the values of community, resilience, and humility. These values became the foundation of his journey. While others saw football as playtime, for Allan, it became a mission, a purpose. It was the beginning of a story that would one day inspire an entire nation. From the humble streets of Lira, Uganda's Wonder Boy was quietly rising. The first touch. Every great story has that one unforgettable moment, the moment when a gift reveals itself to the world. For Allan Okello, that moment came on the dusty community pitches of Lira, where children played barefoot, chasing dreams as much as they chased the ball. He was small, younger than most, yet his presence stood out immediately. With the ball at his feet, Allan seemed to see the game differently. Where others rushed, he paused. Where others forced, he flowed. His very first touches showed a calmness, a control, and a vision far beyond his age. The ground was rough, the ball worn out, but Allan's feet turned it into magic. He would glide past defenders twice his size, sending the crowd of neighbors and friends into cheers. Each move was natural, instinctive, like he was born to play. And it wasn't long before the whispers began, "Who is this boy?" That first touch was more than skill, it was a glimpse of destiny. In that moment, the barefoot child from Lira carried with him the promise of something bigger. It was here, on these dusty pitches, that Uganda's Wonder Boy began to write his story, one goal, one pass, one dream at a time. Family support and struggles. Behind the young boy with the ball at his feet, there was a family. A family that, like many in northern Uganda, understood struggle, sacrifice, and survival. For Allan Okello, football was his dream, but it was also his family's hope. They didn't have much, sometimes not even the basics. Buying boots or jerseys was a luxury they could not afford. Many days, Allan played barefoot, his feet carrying not just him, but the weight of dreams too big to be measured. Yet, through it all, his family never stopped believing in him. His parents and relatives knew that football was more than a pastime, it was Allan's gift. They encouraged him, even when resources were scarce, even when others doubted that such talent could grow from the dusty grounds of Lira. With every game, his family stood by the sidelines, their cheers louder than the struggles they faced at home. It was their silent sacrifices, skipping small comforts, saving whatever they could, that kept Allan on the pitch. Every coin spent on transport to matches, every meal shared, every word of encouragement became part of the foundation of his journey. In truth, Allan Okello's rise was not his alone. It was built on the resilience of a family who chose to believe in their son's dream, no matter how impossible it seemed. Through struggle, they gave him strength. Through love, they gave him wings. And with each touch of the ball, Allan carried them with him, because his success was their victory too. Breaking through at Lira Destiny Sports Academy and the Rhinos Academy. Every rising star needs a stage, and for Allan Okello, that stage came with Lira Destiny Sports Academy and later, the Rhinos Academy. After countless hours of barefoot games and endless practice in the community, Allan was finally given a chance to test his talent in structured, competitive football. These academies were not the biggest by international standards, but for the young boy from northern Uganda, they were everything. It was here that the world of tactics, teamwork, and discipline opened up to him. Surrounded by older and stronger players, Allan had to prove that he belonged. And prove it, he did. From his very first games, his impact was undeniable. He wasn't just another boy on the pitch, he was the heartbeat of the team. His vision to pick the perfect pass, his calmness under pressure, and his ability to glide past defenders left both fans and coaches in awe. He wasn't only playing, he was painting football with his feet. But it wasn't easy. Training was tough, and the demands of competitive football were higher than anything he had known. There were long days, difficult matches, and moments of doubt. Yet Allan's determination was stronger than any challenge. For every setback, he came back hungrier, sharper, and more focused. The academies became his proving ground, the places where a barefoot dreamer began to transform into a footballer with a future. And as whispers of his talent spread beyond the local pitches, one thing became clear: Allan Okello was no longer just a boy with potential. He was a player destined for greatness. From Lira Destiny Sports Academy and the Rhinos Academy, the Wonder Boy's journey was only just beginning. The discovery by KCCA FC. Every dreamer waits for that one life-changing moment, the moment when talent meets opportunity. For Allan Okello, that moment came when scouts from Kampala Capital City Authority Football Club, better known as KCCA FC, set their eyes on him. The stories of a young boy from Lira with magic in his feet had already begun to spread. Local fans and coaches spoke of his vision, his calmness, and his creativity with the ball. And when KCCA's talent scouts finally saw him play, there was no doubt they had found something rare, something special. For Allan, the call to join KCCA FC was more than just an invitation. It was a door opening to a bigger stage, a chance to prove himself at one of Uganda's most successful and respected clubs. From the moment he stepped onto the training grounds in Kampala, it was clear he wasn't intimidated by the bright lights or the big names. He was ready. At KCCA, the pace was faster, the competition tougher, and the expectations higher. But Allan rose to the challenge with the same humility and hunger that carried him from the dusty pitches of Lira. His vision on the ball, his sharp decision-making, and his ability to change a game in an instant quickly set him apart. It wasn't long before KCCA fans embraced him as one of their own. For them, he wasn't just another young signing, he was a breath of fresh air, a new hope for the future of Ugandan football. And for Allan, KCCA became the platform where his boyhood dream began to turn into reality. From Lira to Kampala, from unknown talent to rising star, this was the discovery that would change Allan Okello's life forever. The magical debut. For every footballer, there is that one day, the debut. A day filled with nerves, hope, and the weight of expectation. For Allan Okello, his debut at KCCA FC was nothing short of magical. The young boy from Lira, once chasing balls barefoot on dusty fields, was now stepping onto the green turf of one of Uganda's biggest clubs. Many wondered, could this teenager handle the pressure? Could he shine among seasoned professionals? The answer came swiftly. From the very first whistle, Allan played with a calmness beyond his years. His feet spoke with elegance, his passes painted pictures, and his confidence electrified the stadium. Then came the moment that fans would never forget. Allan Okello, in his very first games, found the back of the net 3 times with skills and composure that left jaws dropping. They weren't just goals, it was a statement and a complete hat-trick. A declaration that a new era had arrived, and the Wonder Boy had landed. The crowd roared his name. Commentators struggled to find words to describe what they had just witnessed. In that instant, Allan wasn't just a promising youngster, he was a star, embraced instantly by KCCA fans, and respected across the league. His debut was more than a match, it was the birth of a new chapter in Ugandan football. For the fans, it was unforgettable. For Allan, it was destiny unfolding. That day, Uganda's Wonder Boy became a household name, and his journey to greatness took flight. The style of play. Football has always had its magicians, players who don't just play the game, but redefine it. And Allan Okello is one of them. What sets him apart is not just his talent, but the way he makes football look effortless, almost poetic. His vision is extraordinary. Allan has the rare gift of seeing passes before they happen. While defenders focus on the ball, Okello sees the spaces, the movements, the possibilities others can't. He threads passes through tight defenses with the precision of an artist painting fine strokes on canvas. Then comes his dribbling, smooth, graceful, and unpredictable. Allan doesn't just dribble to beat an opponent, he dribbles to create, to open the game, to unlock doors that seem firmly shut. Every touch carries intention, every move is a step ahead of his marker. Creativity flows through his boots. Whether it's a clever flick, a daring through ball, or a curling shot from distance, Allan plays with imagination. He brings joy to the pitch, reminding fans that football is as much about beauty as it is about goals. And perhaps most striking of all is his composure. For someone so young, Allan Okello shows maturity beyond his years. Under pressure, he remains calm. Surrounded by defenders, he makes the right choice. In front of goal, he finishes with the confidence of a seasoned striker. This unique combination, vision, dribbling, creativity, and composure, makes Allan Okello not just a player, but an experience. Watching him play is more than following a match. It's witnessing the rise of Uganda's wonder boy, a talent who carries both the hopes of his people and the spirit of the beautiful game. Role models and inspirations. Every great story has guiding lights, the role models who inspire, the stars who show the way. For Allan Okello, his journey was never a lonely road. Along the way, there were heroes he admired, players whose stories pushed him to dream even bigger. Locally, Allan looked up to the greats of Ugandan football, names like David Abua, Dennis Onyango, and Tony Moria. These were players who had shown that talent from Uganda could shine on the global stage. Their resilience and success told a young boy from Lira that it was possible. That one day, he too could write his name into Uganda's football history. But Allan's inspiration stretched far beyond Uganda's borders. Like many children with a ball at their feet, he looked to international icons, Lionel Messi with his magical dribbles, Andres Iniesta with his vision and composure, and Cristiano Ronaldo with his relentless hunger for greatness. These global superstars became silent mentors, shaping Allan's own style of play. From Messi, he learned that size does not define brilliance. From Iniesta, that intelligence can control the game. And from Ronaldo, that hard work turns talent into legend. Yet, perhaps the most powerful inspiration of all came not from famous names, but from closer to home. His family, who stood by him through challenges and sacrifices, became his everyday role models. Their faith, their support, and their unwavering belief in him became the fuel that carried him forward. For Allan Okello, role models were not just idols to admire from afar, they were beacons of possibility, reminders that his dream was real, and proof that with discipline, humility, and passion, he too could rise to become one of the greatest of his generation. Challenges faced. Every success story has its shadows, moments of struggle that test the heart, the body, and the mind. For Allan Okello, the road to greatness was never smooth. Behind the applause and the bright stadium lights, there were challenges that only he could truly carry. Injuries were the first bitter lesson. A twisted ankle here, a torn muscle there, each one threatened to stall his progress. For a young player whose dream was only just taking flight, these moments felt like the world slowing down, as if the game he loved was slipping away from his grasp. But Allan learned patience. He discovered that healing was as much about the mind as it was about the body. Then came the doubts, whispered voices from critics, and sometimes even the quiet voice inside his own head. Could he truly live up to the expectations? Was he too young, too inexperienced, too fragile for the weight of professional football? Every mistake on the pitch seemed magnified, every missed chance a question mark on his talent. But it was in these moments that Allan grew stronger. He turned doubts into determination, proving not just to others, but to himself, that he belonged among the best. And above it all, there was pressure, the immense burden of being a wonder boy, a rising star in Uganda's football story. At just a teenager, he carried the hopes of fans, the pride of his community, and the watchful eyes of scouts and coaches. That kind of weight can break many, but for Allan, it became fuel. Each game was not just about football, but about carrying a dream bigger than himself. Yes, Allan Okello faced injuries, doubts, and pressure, but through it all, he discovered resilience, discipline, and courage. It was these challenges that forged him into the player he is today, not just a boy with talent, but a young man with the heart of a champion. International breakthrough. For every young footballer in Uganda, the dream is always the same, to wear the red, black, and yellow jersey of the Uganda Cranes. To step onto that pitch, not just as an individual, but as a symbol of a nation's pride. For Allan Okello, this dream became reality sooner than many expected. The call-up came like a thunderbolt of joy. Still young, still learning, but already showing a maturity beyond his years at KCCA, Allan had done enough to earn the attention of national team coaches. When he first walked into the Cranes camp, he was not just another player, he was the boy from Lira carrying the hopes of his community onto the international stage. The nerves were real, the anthem played, the stadium roared, and Allan stood among Uganda's finest. But once the whistle blew, the fear vanished, replaced by that same calm, elegant touch that had made him stand out back home. Every pass, every movement carried confidence, as though he had always belonged here. And then came the moment that every player dreams of, his first goal for the national team. The ball at his feet, the crowd rising with every step, and then, the net shaking as Uganda celebrated. It wasn't just a goal, it was a statement. A declaration that Allan Okello had arrived on the international scene, not as a boy filled with promise, but as a man ready to deliver. For the Cranes, his presence meant creativity, vision, and a spark that could change games. For Allan, it meant something deeper, the honor of giving back to his country, of turning childhood dreams into living history. And for Ugandans everywhere, it was hope that their wonder boy was ready to carry their flag high across Africa and beyond. The dream move abroad. For many Ugandan footballers, the dream of playing beyond the borders is often just that, a dream. But for Allan Okello, that dream became a reality in 2020. When news broke that Paradou AC of Algeria had signed the young star, Ugandans everywhere celebrated. Their wonder boy was taking his talent to the world stage. Paradou AC, known for grooming young talents into professionals destined for Europe, saw something special in Allan. To them, he wasn't just another signing. He was a creative gem, a left-footed magician who could unlock defenses with vision and precision. For Allan, this was more than a transfer. It was a test, a chance to step out of his comfort zone, to measure himself against tougher leagues, sharper opponents, and the demanding world of North African football. Life in Algeria was not easy. New country, new culture, new language. The cold nights of Algiers were far from the warm streets of Lira and Kampala. But Allan adapted. On the pitch, he embraced the physicality, the speed, and the tactical discipline. Each game taught him resilience. Each training session sharpened his decision-making. And with every challenge, he grew, not just as a footballer, but as a man. The move to Paradou shaped Allan's career in ways Uganda had never seen before. It showed him the demands of professional football at a higher level. It gave him confidence that his skills were not confined to the local stage, but could shine internationally. And most importantly, it proved to young Ugandan players that their dreams are valid, that talent from the dusty pitches of Lira can echo across stadiums in North Africa and beyond. Allan's journey in Algeria was not just about football. It was about breaking barriers, about carrying the Ugandan spirit into foreign lands, and about learning that greatness comes not from where you start, but from how far you're willing to go. The return to Uganda's league. After making his mark in Algeria with Paradou AC, Allan Okello's story took a turn that few expected, yet many secretly wished for. In 2022, the Wonder Boy returned home, back to the familiar grounds of the Uganda Premier League, and back to KCCA FC, the club that had first given him wings. For the fans, it was not just a signing. It was a homecoming. When Allan stepped once again onto Lugogo turf, the stands erupted with chants of joy. To them, he was more than a player. He was a symbol of pride, a son who had gone out to conquer new horizons and chosen to return and uplift his own. But this comeback was bigger than emotions. It carried weight for Ugandan football as a whole. Allan's return meant that the league could attract back its stars, that home soil could still nurture world-class talent. His presence raised the tempo, drew more fans to the stadiums, and inspired countless young boys in dusty fields across the country, proving that you don't always have to chase Europe to write greatness into your story. For Allan, the return was about balance. About reconnecting with his roots, giving back to the club and the league that made him, while still carrying the lessons he had learned abroad. He played with greater maturity, sharper awareness, and an even stronger determination to shape the future of Ugandan football. And in that moment, Uganda realized something profound, that Allan Okello was not just their wonder boy. He was their heartbeat, a reminder that even after exploring the world, true greatness often finds its way back home. His legacy in the making. Allan Okello, a name that has become synonymous with talent, passion, and promise. But why is he called Uganda's Wonder Boy? And what does that mean for the next generation of young dreamers in this country? Today, we explore the legacy he is building, both on and off the pitch. From a young age, Allan showed a rare gift. His ability to read the game, to create moments of magic with every touch, earned him admiration not just in Uganda, but across Africa. But talent alone does not make a wonder. It is the courage to embrace responsibility, the humility to stay grounded, and the drive to push boundaries that truly define him. Being Uganda's Wonder Boy is more than a title. It is a symbol of hope. For countless young footballers across the nation, Allan represents the possibility that dreams can be achieved, no matter where you start. His journey reminds them that discipline, perseverance, and belief in oneself are the keys to transforming talent into greatness. Allan's legacy is still in the making, but its impact is already visible. He has become a role model, a source of inspiration, and a standard for what is possible. Every goal he scores, every challenge he overcomes, and every moment he dedicates to giving back adds to the story that young Ugandans can tell themselves: I can rise. I can shine. I can make a difference. The title, Wonder Boy, carries weight, but Allan carries it with grace. His influence stretches beyond football. He teaches resilience, leadership, and the importance of using success to uplift others. And for the next generation, his journey is a roadmap, a living example of how talent, when combined with character and commitment, can leave an indelible mark. Uganda's Wonder Boy is not just a name. It is a promise that greatness can emerge from determination, that dreams can be realized with hard work, and that every young person watching today can aspire to make their own mark on the world. Allan Okello is writing his legacy, and in doing so, he lights the way for generations yet to come. And that, dear friends, is the story of Allan Okello, Uganda's Wonder Boy. From the dusty grounds of his childhood to the shining stage of professional football, his rise is proof that talent, discipline, and belief can transform dreams into reality. He is not just playing for himself, but carrying the hopes of an entire nation with every touch of the ball. But now, we would love to hear from you. What moment from Allan's journey inspires you the most? Share your thoughts and views with us in the comments below. We always enjoy reading them. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, hit that notification bell, and of course, subscribe to this channel for more powerful Ugandan stories just like this one. Your support helps us keep telling the stories that matter. Join us again tomorrow, as we bring you yet another epic Ugandan story, full of pride, passion, and inspiration. Until then, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.